Hello there again, guys, and welcome back to Let's Learn Civilization. Just having a quick look around the map just before I started recording to remind myself what I was doing after the last video. And one thing I did notice that I thought I might like to do is this hex here, which is in the middle of my territory that isn't owned by me for some strange reason. Probably because I don't really need it. I don't really have the population from Edinburgh or Cardiff to work it, really. I don't think it's actually being worked by either city, anywhere in that area. Why won't it let me go to Edinburgh? So it said Edinburgh's going to expand that and get that in 2 turns. I was looking at Cardiff. I thought Cardiff may get it, but Edinburgh's going to get it. So if that's the case, I won't buy it because it was about 200 gold to buy the hex. The reason I was going to get that is because we're building the hydro plant here at Cardiff, and the hydro plant will give us 1 extra production per turn for every hex that's next to a river. Well, it's difficult to see the river running through there because of the border marker on it, but the river does run through this hex. If I put the mouse cursor on it, you can actually see down here above the next turn button that it is next to a river. So that would give us an extra 1 production per turn. But in 2 turns' time, we're going to get that as part of Edinburgh anyway, so that's not too bad. We also need to keep our eye on the Egyptian missionaries up here because the Egyptians have settled over here. They've got more missionaries, so I'm going to be very careful because it looks like they are trying to spread their religion. And apart from that, we're just going to keep working towards science. Quite a shame, actually, that I can't get a diplomatic victory or even get enough people on my side to help. Not necessarily get a diplomatic victory, but just to be able to be the leader of World Congress or the United Nations, because then I could actually start putting proposals forward and we could look at things like the International Space Station and stuff like that, which is a bit of a shame, but it may pop up, somebody else may propose it and we can vote on it. Just because somebody else proposes it doesn't mean that they will actually get it. It works quite a lot like the World Fair does, where you actually have to put production into it, so it could still benefit us even if somebody else suggests it. So Nantes has just finished with their bank. I don't think we've actually got any trade routes coming from here, so once again we're going to go for I think I might just go for the public school, actually. Let's just go for science. It would be nice to get the factory in to get the production going, but the science is probably more important to us at the moment. What we are going to do here at Glasgow is get the harbour connected, because that will then sort of connect it up to our capital city, because this city is going to struggle on growth. That's going to be the problem here. We've got some more oil, which is good. And we've got another caravan that has finished whatever it was doing. So who were we trading with previously? We were trading with Argos for 10 gold. I'm just wondering if it's not worth sending them down to who are we going to? Well, I can't get all the way down to Glasgow, can we? We don't have a link that far. Not yet. And we won't be able to do it by boat. It would have been nice to have boosted their food output, but I think we'll carry on with the trade for now. Because, you know, actually what we can do, and I think we will do actually, if we can afford it, we will actually purchase... actually, no, I'll let the harbour continue on its own and I'll purchase a university. Let's get the science boost in nice and quick. Got another unit that needs orders, which will be our knights over here. Now, we can actually go through America's borders, which is fine. We've got some roads that lead through this way. Can't do it on that turn. I shouldn't have moved off the hex with the roads on, but at least we should be able to have a good scout around and hopefully see what the Zulus are up to. I think that's quite an important thing at this stage of the game. So everybody else is having their turn. Trying to keep my eye on those Egyptian missionaries, so it does look like they've disappeared. Oh no, they're there. Quite possible that they're going to start trying to influence Florence, so we'll have to watch that. So we're going to move along. Well, we might as well use the roads, because it will give us better movement. And the road just kind of stops there, so we will have to trek through. We've got another production to take care of in Cork. Now, what can we go for here? Let's go for the university. Let's start pumping out science as much as we can. We still need to grow them, of course. The bigger they are, the more research they will put out anyway. So it is definitely worth keeping them growing as much as we can. America and Egypt are now friends, which might help slow the Zulus down a little bit. I doubt it, but we can always hope. I am going to attempt to keep this video a little bit shorter than the last one, because I'm aware the last one ran on for ages, but it's just one of those things. It's always so tempting to just keep hitting that next turn button. You don't want to stop playing. That's the problem with this game. Well, I won't say it's a problem. It's a fantastic thing, but it's just that constant urge to keep going all the time. So we'll go on to the next turn. There wasn't an awful lot we could do there. Somebody else, America has adopted autocracy. Germany still wants to carry on with the defensive pact, and I don't have a problem with that. And we've kept our expansion promise with America. So they've considered that promise to be fulfilled, which is where they've said, don't expand near us. So now that I've already kept the promise, I could go and expand closer to them anyway, because it's already considered fulfilled. Obviously, after that, they'll get a little bit upset and have a go at me again, but there's nothing worse in this game than having another leader say, don't do this, and you agree to it. And so if they say, don't settle near us, and you go, okay, I won't settle near you, and then on the next turn, you settle near them, then they will probably denounce you or may even attack you and stuff like that. So you want to avoid doing things like that where you can. So Dublin has finished its production of the police station. There's not an awful lot else that we can do that is worth doing here, to be perfectly honest. If we had a workshop in Glasgow, we could build an ironworks though, so it might be worth doing that. Can we afford to build a workshop in Glasgow? Yes, we can. So we'll build a workshop, and then we will get Dublin onto, no, not purchase, onto producing the ironworks, because that'll increase its production output as well. Not a lot else got on there, so we'll go on to our next turn. As you can see, by this stage in the game, things like iron and horses and coal just become completely useless. I'm watching you, Egypt. I mean, they are starting to get attrition because they are sort of ending in somebody else's territory. There's the Brandenburg Gate finished. So let's move these guys. Oh, we've discovered the Zulus. Well, we're not technically at war with them, which means we can pass through them. Discovered a natural wonder, which will increase happiness in the Empire. Let's get onto these roads. Okay, so we've definitely now found the Zulus. We're at the edge of their territory. I'm not going to be able to get into it at the moment because we're not friends with them, but it would be nice to be able to get a scope of the actual size. So we've got this great general now who is pretty much useless to us because we're not really fighting. What are we going to research next? We should probably go for railroad, because that will increase our movement around, and we will need that later on when we come to do our science victory. Let's go for the stock exchange. Let's get the gold rolling in here while we can. And at Cardiff, we will go for... Is it worth getting the extra culture at Cardiff? Cardiff has... Does Cardiff have trade routes? Can never remember. Trade route overview. No, it's just Dublin and Edinburgh. So don't have to worry about Cardiff. That's the right. We looked at that one before on the last video. So we'll go for the museum, and then we'll get it doing something a little bit more useful. Truro has a lot of things it could still build. We're going to go for the hospital first and increase its sort of food production. How much unhappiness are we getting? Almost 89 unhappiness from population, but we're combating it fairly well. We're doing good there. Oh, Douglas needs to do... Right, Douglas hasn't got any tiles next to a river, so a hydro plant is absolutely useless for them. So let's run a... And also they could have a stable, but they haven't got any horses, sheep or cattle nearby, so the stable would be useful as well. So let us go for a bank. If we need more happiness, we know we can build a zoo there, and then we'll start going on to the other stuff. So let's move on to the next turn. He still wants to give us gold per turn for dice, that's fine. So the thing to remember is that roads reduce your... roads double the amount of movement you have. So if you have a unit that has a base movement of 4, on roads it can move 8 hexes. If you have the engineering upgrade, then it's a factor of 3. So a unit that would have a base movement of 4 will be able to move for 12 hexes. Now, when you get those upgraded to railroads, it's a factor of 10. So a unit that can move 4 hexes would be able to move 40 hexes on railroad. So it's very, very much worth having that. We're just going to get the general to sleep. Now, we could use him to build a fort. Now, a fort is a useful thing because it generates culture per turn, which is nice, but not only that, it gives you a defensive building that you can station troops in. One of the other things it does, though, is it does claim all of the land around it, which can, you know, can upset the locals sometimes. I think what I might actually do... is it worth doing it? I could build the fort here, which would auto-claim this hex to be mine. Although it's and obviously it would upset Greece, but I don't mind too much about that. I'm just trying to think if there's any way I can sort of cut my way a path through the Greek territory. Doesn't look like there's a really easy way of doing it, unfortunately. Yeah, it would be nice to get that stone from them, though. Although it's probably not worth it because it probably will just cause a bit of upset. What did the Egyptians nick over here? I mean, they are my friends, but I could... Right, we could try and nick that oil. We could move to this hex and we could capture it. We'd also be capturing part of this as well. Maybe we'll save that. We'll put him on sleep for now, and maybe we'll get an opportunity to use him later on. We've rigged the election entire, which is great. Egypt has added a Reformation belief to its religion. Right, these guys are still here. Yeah, the Zulus have got quite a sizable army, it would appear. They really are playing aggressively. I think one of the main reasons for that is the Zulus... I think they have a cheaper standing army tax. Let's have a look. Yeah, melee units cost 50% less maintenance and all units require 25% less experience to earn their next promotion. So it's very much a civilization that is geared for sort of melee warfare. And also it gets the Impi, which is its unique unit as well. So not an awful lot I could do there at the moment. Move out into the water and hope I don't get attacked. Move on to the next turn. Yeah, just America complaining that we're getting friendly with a city-state they're friendly with. Well, tough luck. Not a lot I can do about that. I could also use my great general over here and... have we actually expanded? Didn't that used to belong to the... Oh no, they've expanded here, haven't they? I mean, I couldn't have that if I wanted to. I could go and dump the citadel right here and capture their mine. Would upset them a lot. I mean, it'd be hilarious, but it would upset them a lot. Just trying to think if there's anywhere that I could use it. Because it would give me culture, which is a nice thing. You can't capture an enemy city with it, unfortunately, so don't get ever thinking that you can use it for that purpose. It doesn't work that way, sadly. Yeah, shame we're not a bit closer to that aluminium there. We will find a use for it later on, though, so let's go on to the next turn. There's not an awful lot we can do on this turn now. We're just waiting for constructions and sciences to complete and things like that. Right, what are the Zulus up to? Yeah, he's getting a little bit upset that I'm friends with Germany. It may be time to launch a war on the Zulus. Unfortunately for me, I'm not in a particularly great spot to be able to get at them, because to attack them from to the east, I've got to travel through Greece, Germany, America, and Egypt. Whereas to attack them from the west, I've got to go across the sea, which can be done, but it does mean I have to build a lot of aircraft carriers in order to be able to do it. But we are now starting to get an idea of the scope of the Zulu army and where their territory is. So we'll keep scouting around the outside, see what we can find. We may not have to take any action about them. We may not have to do anything, but it's nice to know what they've got going on, because that does help us out. I'm going to build the temple here at Cork just because it's additional food. In fact, can we actually just purchase the temple? No, but we can and will purchase the lighthouse because that will help with food as well. So let's do that. Caravan as well. Let's put the brakes on. What were you doing before? You were going to Cork for food. You can go to Cork with production this time. And that will help it grow a little bit quicker. Not help it build its buildings a little bit quicker anyway. There is an achievement you can get in this game. It's one of the ones I haven't got yet. Egypt want to work together. Yeah, fine. I can't remember the exact name of the achievement. I think it's something like almost built in a day. Or something like that. Oh, sod off. And in order to get that achievement, I think you have to build a wonder while having 5 different cities supply with, or it's either 3 or 5. 3 or 5 cities supply the city building the wonder with production from other cities. So that might be one of the ones I have to try later on. Right, a unit needs orders. That's going to be these guys over here. Can't really go that way unless I go around the water, so let's kind of backtrack around and have a look around in this direction, see how far we can get. It does look like the Zulus are just going around taking out all the city-states as well. But they're certainly heading west. So it's probably America that's going to be getting the brunt of their attack. See, I just don't have an awful lot over there that I can really do to help them. I just don't have any units over there. So let's carry on moving around. Yeah, their soldiers are over here, but I'm going to scout the area as best I can. Glasgow has now finished the harbour, so seaport would be good. It doesn't have that many sea tiles at the moment. What we are going to do, though, is pop out a workboat just so we can get the fish there. That'll help with food. Edinburgh has finished the stock exchange. Is it worth doing the Grand Temple? Because that does give us extra faith. We're not really using the faith at the moment. We could have the National Epic, which would give us an extra 25% to Great People Generation, which would stack with the 25% Great Scientist Generation we could get from the Rationalism social policy. But we still need monuments in Nantes, Douglas, Glasgow and Cork. And monuments are not exactly cheap. Well, they are cheap, but haven't got enough to buy all of them. So can't do that at the moment, so there's no point in doing that. So we'll go back to Edinburgh. And while we can't really build anything of use at the moment... Actually, we'll build a museum. It's only 4 turns and it will give us some culture. Then after that, we're just going to put them on science production. Can't build anything really with Dublin, so they are going on to research. Cardiff, again, in the same sort of position. Nothing useful for them to build. Let's put them on research. That's got us over 600 research per turn now. Douglas, we are going to go on to a hospital just to help them grow. In fact, scrap that. We're going to do the monument first because that's only 1 turn away. Might as well get that done there while we can. So things are working out for us. Over 600 research per turn. Happiness is still good. Could do with a bit more culture coming in, though. Help get those social policies up a bit quicker. Not helped by the fact I've got so many cities, really. Expanded a little bit too rapidly, but that was through my desire to possess a majority of the different luxury resources on the map. So I've got no one to blame for myself for that one. We've now got a city connection established between Glasgow and the capital, which is useful. Got a bit of a problem here because we've got so many flipping Zulu units in the way I can't actually get to where I want to go. Yeah, it does look like the Zulus here may well be attacking the city-states, and it's going to be very difficult for me with 1 cavalry unit over here to do anything about that. If I had a bit more over there, I may well consider it. Well, we've finished that monument, so we'll do the hospital, which is what I said I was going to do next anyway. We'll go on to the next turn. I'm still really wrestling with the idea in my mind of whether or not I should actually try and send some units over there and help thin the Zulus out, or whether it's worth just building some carriers and heading out over sea and attacking him from this side. It may be worth doing that, but it's risky and it is expensive. I'd have to build a lot of carriers. I'd have to build a lot of bombers as well. Yeah, I knew that was going on. I didn't have a lot of choice. I was limited to where I could stand. So I see we've got another American city down here as well. I think the cities are a little bit fragmented because the Zulus have been capturing other people's cities, so that's partially the problem there. We've finished the temple in Cork. We could go for a windmill. What would be the best thing here? Seaport's pretty useless because we don't have all that many sea tiles. Let's go for the... Oh, I don't know. We'll go for the public school first. No, we'll go for the factory first because the factory... We've got the bonus that builds the factories in half the time, and we get plus 25% science from having a factory there anyway. So we'll have the factory first, then we'll build the public school. Another declaration of friendship with Germany. Well, it's just renewing the declaration. Germany's now adopted ideology. No longer an ally of Europe, which is a shame. Now, we can build the Kremlin, which requires order and gives us 50% production when building army units, which is kind of pointless because we're not really building units. So it would give us a free social policy, which is nice. That place, which I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce because I'll probably offend some of my German audience, but that would give me happiness and culture. And it would be nice to have that, actually. So maybe something that I can look into. And we can now establish an additional trade route. We go up to 8. So before we do anything else, we're going to look at our next thing, which will probably be refrigeration. That allows us to build submarines, which could be useful if I do decide to attack the Zulus. I'm not going to go for the Kremlin for 61 turns at Glasgow. Seems like a bit of a waste. We're going to do the same... We'll do the temple first for the 5 food, then we'll do the factory, then we'll move on to some science there. We need to build another caravan now, must remember that. So we were going to Argos for 9. May as well continue doing that. No reason why not to. The unit needs orders. There's our workboat. That can go over there and do some fishing. And let's carry on with the next turn. Yeah, it's going to be difficult to know what the Zulus are going on because we can't really see inside their borders, and they've got such a large area of the map that it's very, very difficult for me to see just by going around the outside. Of course, I could declare war against them and enter their lands. Now, I've lost quite a bit of happiness now. It was 27 last time I looked, and I've just glanced at the top of the screen now and noticed it's gone down to 11, so that's not a particularly great thing for us. We'll go for the factory here, because again, the factory will give us 25% science and an extra happiness. Might as well have it. Edinburgh, we will do the Kremlin. Why not? We get a free social policy, and we can use that social policy to help boost our science. We're going to go for the stock exchange at Truro, just so we can get the extra gold. We use that gold to buy buildings. Now, can't really go too far around here because of all these mountains, but yeah, there you see, there's the Zulus' borders again. So the Zulus have got quite a lot of the map here. See, I could go to war with them for no real detriment to myself, because pretty much the whole world has denounced the Zulus because the Zulus are warmongers, which means that me attacking the Zulus wouldn't get me any negative effects apart from the Zulus themselves. Can the Zulus attack me? Well, not easily. They'd have to come across the water to attack me from the west, which I could defend quite easily. They'd have to come through all of my allies to attack me from the east, which they're really not going to be able to do. However, if I attack them, then I'm going to be breaking my defensive pacts with all of my friends, which isn't particularly useful. As you can see here, they actually have a citadel. This is what you get when you use a great general to pop down a citadel. So you can only put down a citadel in your own tile or adjacent to your own tile, and it will claim the tile it's on and the 6 surrounding tiles. So you can see here they've also claimed Portland. So they are playing quite aggressively. So we've got a caravan there at Edinburgh. Where was that going before? What are we going to do with it? That was going to Tyre. Let's carry on with that. Seems like it should be beneficial to us. And on with the next turn. So we are slowly powering our way through the science tree. Now bear in mind, as I've said, I'm not an expert at this game. I might not even win this. It's quite tricky on Prince. Because what you've got to remember on Prince is that Prince is basically no bonuses, no handicaps. Everything's at essentially 100%. The rate of which you gain happiness and unhappiness, the rate at which you gain faith, production, how much culture you need for social policies, how much faith you need for founding a religion, that's all set at 100%. If you play on difficulty levels that are higher than Prince, you actually get a penalty. You gain happiness at a lower rate, you need more culture to adopt social policies. And the Zulus have adopted autocracy. And if you play on any difficulty level lower than Prince, you actually get a bonus. You gain additional happiness, you gain additional faith, you need less culture for social policies, so on and so forth. What you've got to remember is Prince is the medium difficulty. It's difficulty number 2. Whereas the computer always plays on War Chief, which is difficulty... Prince is difficulty number 4. And they always play on difficulty number 2, which is War Chief. So the AI gets bonuses to its culture and happiness and everything. Right, Germany has finally had enough of the Zulus. I'm going to say... Yeah, let's declare war. Let us declare war on the Zulus. It isn't really going to have any negative effects on us. They could decide that they're going to try and attack us at some point, but they're really going to struggle getting to us. I've got the ability to build bombers. We've got a great scientist in Edinburgh, which is great. We've got these guys now. Now, what we could attempt to do is a bit silly. We could even try and liberate Delhi. I'm not going to be able to do it just using these guys, though. I'd need to get quite a lot of units over there, and I can't really tell how close to the ocean Delhi is there, unfortunately. Although all I'd essentially be doing is bringing another player back into the game. Okay, Michael Faraday, let's pop him straight the way for 4,500 research, which instantly means we have refrigeration done, and then we can get replaceable parts done in 3 turns. That will allow us to get great war infantry, which could be useful. So we'll go on to the next turn and see how things progress. See exactly what happens. Germany's still happy that we like to back them up on proposals. Our workers are going around and turning the roads into railroads, which is what I expected them to do. Gives them something to keep them busy, keep them occupied. They'll eventually convert all of the roads. Yeah, they're doing that now. As you can see, starting to change a few of the roads over. So it already wants us to go into next turn. Now, where did we have those guys parked? What can we do with them? Not an all... Right, we've got another American city down here, actually. Right, well, let's take out these cannons, because we can do that nice and easily. Should be a decisive victory. Brilliant, we have taken out one of their units. So let's get these guys some upgrades. We can also always dive into America and retreat a little bit if need be. I might consider trying to move some more units over there if I can. It does take us a long time to get there. No. Hang on, it was your proposal. This is one of the things I've never understood about this game. You'll get the AI will offer a proposal, and you go, yeah, okay, and then they go, no, it's not good enough. So he wants me to give him coal, aluminium. Fair enough, we'll do it. We've got the aluminium and coal to spare. And we could do with having his borders open, because then we can dive in here to, you know, for safety. What we've also got to remember here as well is that there is probably a war effort now between America and the Zulus. So by providing gold and strategic resources to the Americans, I'm potentially helping them defeat the Zulus. So it's well worth doing that. Can we capture those workers? Yes, we can. Of course, we've now could get hit by Delhi, except we can move out of range. And we've got some workers. We've just captured some Zulu workers. Glasgow is now going to do the factory, which is what we said we were going to do. We'll go on to the next turn, and then that'll be the last turn then before I end this video. So we will see what happens. Zulus are making their moves. Not doing an awful lot. No longer friends with Vancouver. And we've discovered replaceable parts, which now means we can do some upgrades. Next, we are going to go for combustion, because then we can get landships and destroyers. Destroyers are absolutely brilliant for raiding coastal cities. They are the upgrade to privateers. They can raid coastal cities to capture them as if you were moving a melee unit into them. They're brilliant at melee naval combat, and you can even sort of pillage gold from naval cities when you capture them, so it's really worth having those. Douglas is now going to go on and make a zoo, because we need to get this happiness back up. This unit still needs orders. We do have to be careful, because we know we have Zulus around, and we don't want to get caught out in the open too much. We've got these workers. I'm going to do the best I can to instantly get them recaptured by these Zulu knights that I didn't see were there. Not an awful lot I can do about that now. Kind of screwed. I've lost those workers again. I was going to try and take them through America's borders, try and keep them safe, but that's not going to work. So that's about all I can do for that turn, really. So I hope you guys are still enjoying the series. And remember, if you do have any questions, either send me a message or leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. So until next time, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye for now.